towards us, which is quite natural. But we also have the same biological response from an emotional threat as well. And that often happens when we are in a situation where we feel that there's going to be conflict. So we either tend to psych ourselves up too much and go in aggressively, or we tend to just try and avoid it, or we just dilute it so much that the message has gone away. So I want to tell you about so-and-so, but actually don't worry about it because of this, that, and the other. And by the time you've done all of that, the person that you're speaking to thinks, oh, well, there isn't really a problem. It's all fine. The other problem with some communication that we do is unclear communication. So if I was to give you an example of, sorry, Mark, I'm just going to pick on you. Mark, I loved your presentation last week. Not that you did a presentation last week, but I loved it. Okay, so that tells Mark that I liked it, but it doesn't tell him why. It doesn't tell him what he did that I particularly liked, so he could do it again, or if I didn't like something, what he didn't like, so that he perhaps wouldn't do it again. Same with employees. We need to talk to them. People that are skilled in communication build up better relationships with their employees. They develop better performance of their employees because their employees know what they're doing well. They know what to replicate. They know what they're doing badly, so they know what to avoid. Communication, I've always found that I will go into an organization and then I'll say to somebody, well, have you spoken to them about that? Well, no, I haven't. Because it's just too difficult for them. One of the things I wanted to show you in terms of communication was if I was to give you that, and I give you that. Do you all remember these things from childhood? So, so I mean, Paul can manage what goes in there, and Mitch can manage what goes in the other end. In terms of communication, there's a hole in the bottom of that. But what we can't manage is this bit in the middle. We don't know quite what happens along this bit. Sometimes it's tight, sometimes it's not. And if you're using it in the rain, this will get wet. If you're using it in the dry, it won't. It might get tangled. And that's what happens with communication as well. Yeah, okay, I gave it to the wrong two people in the room, didn't I? So, okay. I'm going to, little boys, I'm going to take this off you now. I thought at least I might have had some comment about the beer. So basically, so I guess what I'm trying to get across is that you can manage the bits at the end, but you don't know what happens in the middle. And that's the same whether you're talking about the environment that you're communicating in, the person that you're speaking to, and communication it's a dialogue. It's a two-way thing. So you need to understand that what you're saying isn't necessarily received by the person in the same way that you intend it to be received. So I think communication can be very difficult in that respect. My two favorite, anybody that's worked with me will know that my two favorite words are communication and consequences. Because we need to communicate, and we also need to tell, especially if we're communicating with staff, we need to tell people the consequences of their actions through our communication. It's also the way that Indigo works. Hopefully I communicate with my clients. That's the word. I must remember about them. Communicate with my clients and my associates. And I also talk to my clients about the consequences of their actions. So if one of my clients says to me, can I do X, Y, or Z? My normal reaction will not be, no, you can't. My normal reaction will be, well, yes, you can, but you need to know the consequences of what you want to do. So that might be a business consequence. It might affect their bottom line in terms of ending up in a tribunal where we'd need Ian. It might be a morale consequence. If you're treating one particular member of staff in one way, it might be that everybody else might might think badly of the company because you're treating somebody in a particular way. So there are various things to think about when communicating and also managing staff. One of them being make sure that whoever you're managing or whoever you're speaking to understands the consequences of their actions. So communication can be scary, but that's where I come in, Indigo comes in. And we cover all areas of HR, but I specialize in performance management. So there's a model that I use called PEG, which is performance, expectation, and gap. So that's about establishing what performance is, telling somebody what your expectation of them is, and then analysing the gap and helping them get from P to G. So in other words, from making that gap smaller. Change management is an area that I specialise in as well. Acquisitions, mergers, organisation structure change, that sort of thing. And employee relations, I do a lot of investigations, a lot of management of redundancies, absence management, stress management, workplace mediation I'm qualified in. And I also do a lot of training in all of the above, and including communication and consequences. So that's me. And I think, was that more than 10 minutes?
No, about 8.5.
Was it? Right, okay. So, so I'll keep going. Okay, so there is John. All right. John's very recently done my new website, which there's been a couple of technical issues, but hopefully it's now, certainly if you look on your computers, it's up. There's a problem at the moment, I think, with the mobile site, but that will be done when I don't want to bother him when he's on honeymoon. So please do have a look and give me your feedback, but you will see that it's split into 3 areas, which is performance management, change management, employee relations, and the training as well, which I absolutely love doing. And I use a lot of props and activity sort of things when I do my training.
But you're usually training adults. I'm
usually training adults, yes. It is a little bit more difficult when you have a couple of kids in the room. Stabbed in the back, are you? Yeah. So any questions about any of that, or about Indigo, or about what I do? One of the best ways of doing it is asking the person what they understand you just said. So is to say to them, could you tell me what you believe that I expect of you, so that they are putting it back to you in their own words, and you know that they understand what you said.
Is it even more difficult when you're communicating to a group of people?
It is, because you've got different expectations of people. They've got their own background noise going on. So all you can do when you're doing a group of people is to try and make your message as clear and simple as possible, because then you've got as little interference with that communication as possible. Worst thing. You all know the research that was done in the 60s about tone of voice, body language, and words. So the basically 7% of what we hear or what we understand in communication is words. The rest is split between body language and tone of voice. So email is purely words. It's no wonder that we get so much problems just dealing with email. And it's well, I say it's increasing. I'm not sure it can increase anymore. But I had a client not so long ago, and I was being copied into their emails at about 10 o'clock at night. It was husband and wife. And they were having a row on email at 10 o'clock at night. And I was copied in. I was thinking, yes, thanks for that. Yeah. Well, either that or in different rooms in the house. But at least they were in the same house, which is perverse. But it did explain a lot about why they had problems. And I'm not a marriage guidance counsellor. There you go.
One of you two was going to say
So there you go, IndigoHR. I'm specialised particularly in projects. So if any of your clients have issues in terms of, for example, grievances or disciplinaries, redundancies, if they're going to merge by taking on another company, or they're demerging, or they're being taken over by another company, there are various rules and regulations surrounding that. And I'm going to do a double act now, but Ian and I can help. Ian doing the legal bit, and I'll do the practical bit in terms of helping companies through all of the mire of that. And if you know of companies where their managers just don't communicate and they need training, then either I will go in and do an in-house course for the company, or James and I will do a public course, which we're doing another one hopefully in September or October or November. In the autumn. We'll do another one, which was very well received in June. So, yeah. You're welcome.